Well, Israel, meanwhile, continues to strike targets in southern Lebanon amid growing frustration with the failure to disarm Hezbollah. Israel has complained that the group has smuggled hundreds of rockets from Syria into Lebanon, restored missile launchers that were bombed by Israel, and have enlisted thousands of new recruits. But my next guest argues that this need not derail the prospects of peace between the Lebanese state and Israel. Right now, Lebanese law penalises any contact between Lebanese and Israeli citizens. Could that change? With me now, Hanin Ghaddar is a senior fellow at the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, and she's just published a report called A Roadmap for Israel-Lebanon Peace. Hanin, delighted to have you on the programme. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me again. Happy to be here.
Now, it looks as though, far from disarming and reaching a peace deal, Beirut is going to have to deal with another war between Israel and Hezbollah, because Israel has made it clear it will not tolerate Hezbollah rearming, let alone disarming, and posing a threat to it from the north.
Correct. This is what everybody is expecting. The messages are loud and clear with the threats and the fact that the Lebanese army had 1 year since the ceasefire was reached to disarm Hezbollah. We're still stuck in south of Lebanon, south of Litani, and the mission hasn't been accomplished yet. And we're hearing hesitation from the Lebanese side about total disarmament, sometimes calling it containment rather disarmament, and sometimes the army saying that they need the Israelis to stop attacking so they can do that. So this conditionality is not reassuring. So that's why we assume that there's one thing that the ceasefire agreement did not really address, and I think this is the main problem, is that's why we're here today, is that the ceasefire agreement that was reached last year did not really present a timeline or a deadline. The Lebanese government, the Lebanese army does not have this kind of ultimatum or pressure of a timeline to actually disarm Hezbollah. They can take all the time they need. The ceasefire agreement does not stipulate any deadline for disarmament. That's the problem. And that's why I think when we wrote this study, my colleagues and I, Ehud Yari and Robert Satloff, the idea was we're looking at another war. We're looking at escalation. We're looking at something that might lead to a new agreement, a new ceasefire agreement, but it's not going to be just a ceasefire. While we're looking at the security issues, while we're looking at the border security issues, the war prospects, the escalation that is happening inside Lebanon, it's very clear that the majority of the Lebanese do not want this. The majority of the Lebanese want Hezbollah to disarm, and they want peace. They want direct negotiations with Israel, and they want to really get to a point where they reach peace. And
when you say the majority, are you basing that on sectarian lines, or how do we know that? Is there polling to suggest that, or?
No, definitely not. Listen, I'm from the south of Lebanon. I know but we talk to people there. They're not going to say it publicly because it's dangerous to say it publicly. I think the Shia have more interest in peace than anyone else, because it's not peace for them. It's not just, like normalization with Israel, and they don't see it as kind of like tourism back and forth to Israel. They see it as the only way to stop the war. And this is something that they really need now, because when you talk to a lot of to Shia in Lebanon, regular Shia, we're not talking about the opposition who actually are outspoken, just the regular Shia, they realize that the alternative that has been going on for 40 years, which is the resistance, worked for a while, but today it has failed. It died when Nasrallah was assassinated. So today, for the Shia, the war against Israel and resisting Israel is no longer an option because it failed, and they are dealing with the consequences every day. So for them, the end of war means one thing. It's like only peace can end war. Meanwhile, that basically the narrative on the street is very different from the pace of the government and the narrative that we see on the leadership level. And that's why we believe that talking about peace now, starting to talk about peace now, means that when we reach another ceasefire after a possible war or after a possible escalation, there will be more negotiations. And we're hoping that these negotiations go beyond ceasefire and really draw the line and make sure that peace is on the agenda.
Quite.
Because we want it to be the final one.
And you are